with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
It's been a minute, Luke. Haven't seen you in a while.
Man,
I mean, you've been all over the place, but that's not really uncommon, you know.
No, I'm going to be in the Bahamas next week
Oh.
at Atlantis. Hadn't been in, almost 20 years, so looking forward to it.
Nice. You know, I know a lot of trips you go, well, I'm going over here.
Yeah, Mountain Joy, Pennsylvania.
Be glad when I'm back.
Yeah.
But this one you're probably looking a little forward to, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I mean, except the other ones don't cost as much money, I can tell you that one. Atlantis thinks a lot of its stuff.
Of course it does. Anything in the Bahamas, the Caribbean, anything like that. Hey, but you know what? You only live once, so go enjoy it. That'll be fun.
God, I hope so. I can't take another one of these.
Well, we're glad everybody's joined us out there, whether you're tuning in from Atlantis in Bahamas or Minnesota, or I had somebody watching from Michigan the other day. So you just never know where people in this world. You don't know where everybody's tuning you in. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll take your calls 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. You can comment away on Facebook Live. Out there, all of you YouTube subscribers, you can watch us there, obviously. Get the notification every time we're on the air. I do want to promote our bracket challenge. Do that throughout the show. You have till about a little after 11 o'clock on Thursday to get your bracket filled out and submitted. It's free. You go there to cbssports.com and go to the bracket thing section and type in Sports Blitz Madness. That's sports with a Z. And Blitz 23 is the password to get into the bracket challenge. Lots of great prizes, man. We got 2 tickets to Kenny Chesney and Uncle Cracker and Megan Maroney and Zach Brown in Atlanta on May the 18th on a Saturday. We've got multiple $100 gift cards to various restaurants, other establishments. Still have prizes coming in from other people. So by the time it's all said and done, it'll probably be close to $1,000 worth of stuff that you could win if you win the bracket. And, you know, we're giving away another TV, a 40-inch. Have
you filled yours out?
I have. I've finished mine. And so.
Who'd you have winning it?
Arizona.
It's not bad. Not a bad.
In
call.
Arizona.
It is, and I'm going.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that'll be my luck. This will be a year Auburn will go, and I'll be down there, and I'll just be one miserable SOB. But no, I'm going. My son goes to Arizona State, and it's going to be essentially there. And that was his Christmas present because he can't go with us to Atlantis. And so I said that, I'll go to the Final Four with him. I'm going to go to the Final Four, and then I said I actually got a package, so I get 2 championship tickets and 2 Final Four tickets. And I said for the championship game, you take whoever you want. Now,
well, if Auburn makes it, just think of me if you don't want to.
You better tell Truett to think of you.
Yeah, there you go.
But if Alabama makes it, then Truett better think of something else because I might have to take both tickets just for myself.
Well, I mean, again, Final Four is definitely a bucket list.
Have you been to one?
I've never been to. I wanted to go and should have gone to Minnesota. Of course, I'd have been pissed when I left, but still, you make it there. It's kind of like that to me in basketball. Making it there is kind of the accomplishment. I mean, winning the national championship obviously is the ultimate prize, but when you make it to the Final Four, that's really the prize in college basketball.
When I went, and I've written about this before for Lake Martin Living, I think, and when I went in '92 because my high school roommate, his family lived in Minnesota,
right?
And I said, well, let's just go. I mean, I think it was '92, so it must have been the spring of my first year at college.
Fab Five? Was that the Fab Five?
Yeah, so it was Fab Five. Duke with Hurley and
that was an
Leitner.
That was an awesome.
They had just won. Duke had just beaten Kentucky in the Spectrum.
Right.
And Cincinnati with Bob Huggins, and then Indiana with Bob Knight. And soon
Pretty
as
doggone.
Michigan beat Cincinnati, all the Cincinnati people cleared out. But what was funny, and I think I've told this story before, and I'm going to tell it again, that I went up there with just, a couple $100. I was a college student, didn't have a lot of money, and I was just like, I'm hoping to luck into a ticket. And it's in the Metrodome, so you're thinking, okay, they got tickets everywhere. Well, they did, but everybody wanted $400, $600 a piece for them still in 92.
Right.
And I just said, well, look, told my friend Bartley, I said, let's just go watch it in a bar. And a guy, sort of out of nowhere, it's almost like a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of thing. He comes out and he goes, I heard y'all were looking for tickets. I said, yeah, we're looking like everybody else. What do you want for me? So I knew he was going to say, I got 2 on the floor for $1,200 a piece. He said, look, these are really bad seats. And I said, man, just tell me how much. He said, I'll give them to you for face value, $12.50. I had $30 wadded up in my hand.
That ain't tax on that.
And I threw it at him, and I said, keep the change, because other people heard it. And they were like, I'll give you $200.
Yeah, the tax.
And we were changing the light bulbs in the Metrodome the first game. But the second game, I was on midcourt for Duke, Indiana.
Wow.
It's pretty hard to beat.
That's awesome. Again, opportunity to go. If Auburn makes it, I may find my way out there this time. This Auburn team's playing really good basketball right now. They just won the tournament. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Alabama and kind of where they are right now, both drawing 4 seeds. We'll talk about both of their first-round opponents and then what the path looks like. I mean, if Alabama were to win 2 games, it looks like North Carolina in the Sweet 16. If Auburn were to win 2 games, it looks like UConn in the Sweet 16. So I think you just take it one at a time. You can't really overlook anybody in the second round for Auburn. I think San Diego State will win that game against UAB. I think a lot of people would like to see UAB and Auburn possibly, but I don't think UAB will get past a pretty doggone good San Diego State team.
I think the rest of the country will choose UAB and Auburn sort of as that would be neat.
Yeah.
And what they don't understand is they've played a lot. So, I mean, It really isn't that neat. I think San Diego State would be the better story. And I think San Diego State's a better team. They did play for a national championship last year. I heard Andy Kennedy on the radio today, and he said something that was interesting to me. He said, look, I'm for expansion of the NCAA tournament. And I was like, oh, come on, Andy. I mean, we're at 68. I mean, really. And then he said, but you know what? He said, I want to get rid of the conference tournaments. And I was like, okay, I could get behind that. The conference tournaments, and again, we can talk about it, we've learned they don't mean a ton. Now, they mean something in the sense that, you get a trophy and it's great to celebrate, whatever. But they don't mean that much in the sense that Kansas sat 2 people. It's I think it's wrong that you give a team with a losing record like Temple. Temple had a losing record. They make it to the final game against UAB. They could have gotten in the dance, thus stealing a spot. And
Brown almost did.
Brown almost did against Yale. And I just think, and we all know that, again, I've said this 1,000 times, it's all a big money grab. Why don't we expand the tournament, though, the NCAA tournament, to some other number and have that week be for, let's decide who gets to be the 16th seed between Howard and Wagner then, or, Virginia and Colorado State then. And so that gives us something to watch. And it also means that the regular season goes back to meaning the most. I'm down with that. Andy Kennedy said it, not me. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of down with that. Because now, again, I'm going to tell you, I know you guys went to the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
I went last year when Alabama won it. It is fun. It's dramatic. Just because it's dramatic and fun doesn't mean it's the right way to do something. And the only way they can make the tournaments mean something is if you dangle that carrot of winner automatically gets in the tournament no matter how bad you were in the regular season, which we should all agree is kind of crap.
Yeah, you can look at it a couple of different ways. We've been having conference tournaments for a long time. Now I know conferences are changing.
And not all conferences have had the conference tournaments.
They have not, but, you look at, the world of college football, and I think all of it's going to be different in 5 years. Rick Pitino, and you can say what you want to about him, I thought he was spot on. He looked disgusted. He said that, he felt like Villanova's coach Jay Wright left because of this, got out of basketball because of the way things are. And it's like he said, it's kind of what we've already experienced. From one year to the next, you don't have the same guys. And you can't latch on to anybody really because they're probably going to be gone or in the transfer portal. It's like he was talking about when he coached at Iona. He said the entire league was purged, and he said, I'm not blaming the kids. He said they're just taking advantage of the system, but he said the system's broken. He goes back and he talks about Jamal Mashburn and some of those guys, and coming up and spending 2 or 3 years at Kentucky and developing and building a rapport and all this kind of stuff. And I know there's arguments again. People will say, well, Louis Rick Pitino complaining about, but he's right. I mean, look past what he's saying. Look past who he is. The system is broken. It's broken in football. It's broken in basketball. It's broken all the way across the board. And the NCAA ruined it for everybody because they didn't have enough guts to do the right thing. And now they've kind of gone back and tried to, attack some colleges. And they've been taken to task in the legal system. They have no power, man. And everything they've done, they've just ruined the sport.
Again, if you want to know how screwed up it is, think about this. All right, the portal opened, I guess.
Did Alabama already get
Alabama's
somebody?
already gotten a commitment
from Pepperdine.
From a Pepperdine guy in the portal who's a really good player. He averaged like 15 points and 6 rebounds, 3 assists or something. I mean, a good player, good three-point shooter. But, I mean, I have no problem saying I'm glad my team has him. I think he's a good player. I've asked around about him. They like him a lot. I'm happy about that part. I'm not happy about I wish my team didn't have to focus on recruiting right this very second. I wish they could focus on the NCAA. But if Alabama's not focused on recruiting, that's a problem because everybody else who's not in this tournament, I promise you, they're focused on it.
Yeah.
So, and if the portal's going to be open, you got to attack it. And I'll take it one step further, Brett. Caden Proctor leaves Alabama, right?
This is a joke, man.
He leaves Alabama.
This is so stupid.
He leaves it. He announces he's going to transfer. 2 days later, he's committed to Iowa. So it all feels like, okay.
He's been gone 3 months.
And I'm like, okay, he wanted to go home, and he was going to leave whether Saban stayed or not, was the story. And I believe that because there were some ties to Iowa, certainly. But now he's back at Alabama.
What tied him back to Alabama? Has to be money.
Probably so.
Has to be.
We say has to be. I don't know
well,
that.
It has to
but
be.
It certainly makes sense that it is. But that's the system we're in now. And me as an Alabama fan, thrilled to death Caden Proctor's coming back. Scared to death that the sport I love is out of control.
This is absolutely, a joke. And take Alabama out of it. A kid leaves a school, goes somewhere for 3 months, and then comes back. Man,
it hadn't been 3 months. He left. It's been 2 months, and that's again, like he can't. I assume he can't come back for like spring practice or anything. But I don't know. I don't think any of us know. Nobody knows what the actual rules are anymore because it seems like there aren't any.
There are not. There are none, and that's why I think when you saw Tennessee and Florida State and the couple of teams that the NCAA decided to just come out of the bushes and attack and try to hit with sanctions, they just said, look, we're going to lawyer up. You have no power. Just get the heck out of here. And they did whimper away once again. Nothing's happened. And all this is doing is speeding up the process for everybody to break away. And I'm going to tell you, when the NCAA tournament dries up or splits or they try to do something different, the NCAA will be DOA. This is their main source of revenue. And people, frankly, are just sick of the whole thing. Look, it just doesn't even mean anything anymore, Luke. It don't.
I'm curious this. Let's go to the NCAA tournament. See, I have no problem if the powers that be, if the Big Ten and the SEC and they, I guess, sort of grandfathered in the ACC and Big 12 or whatever, and then let Notre Dame and maybe a couple other schools like that in. If they said, we're going to have what's known as NCAA tournament now. No more Longwoods, no more Duquesnes, no more Wagners, no more Howards. Would you be okay with that? I would be.
Yeah, I would be. I would. That's what college football's doing.
Wagner and Howard are playing right now.
And who cares?
And who's watching?
It's 16.
It's not even really the beginning of the tournament. Do you consider it the beginning of the tournament?
I don't. But then you got Virginia taking on Colorado State for a 10 seed.
And see, my question is,
why are they a 10 seed?
Why do you punish the 10 seeds? Why not punish the 16 seeds?
Well, that's, to me, every playing game should be a 16 seed.
And it was, and everybody cried foul saying, well, these kids don't get the experience. And I'm like, yeah, because it's not This isn't a participation trophy.
Why should you have to play in to be a 10? I still
It usually was 11, and now
right.
they're doing it as a 10. I don't know.
I guess next time it'll be a 1.
Yeah, I mean,
the 1 seeds will have to play. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense for what. And again, look, we can go on. We'll go to break first. We come back. I want to talk about this committee because it is just no sense at all. You ship 4 Alabama teams out west. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we'll talk about that and a lot more when we come back. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live here on this Tuesday evening. Welcome. I want to thank Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill for their longtime sponsorship of the program. You can call us 256-234-6221. You can sit here and try to make sense out of something that will never make sense. That's a waste of time. So you dealt the hand that you dealt. You just got to go play. I do want to go back to the SEC tournament real quick, kind of run down the path. Auburn knocks off South Carolina. It wasn't a fluke, obviously. The first time they beat them by 40, they almost beat them by 40 again.
Terrible matchup for South Carolina.
It just doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Then a rock fight between Mississippi State. And then Mississippi State was one of those teams that we always go, there's somebody in the tournament that seems like they're riding a hot wave. And Mississippi State was one of those teams. I thought Texas A&M was another one, but Florida was able to take care of them. But Mississippi State, Auburn was able to just kind of grind out a win in that game, and then they met Florida in the championship. And I think, Auburn was a little bit more fresh. I think Florida hadn't, Auburn, the defensive pressure was smothering. They just couldn't really get anything off. They only attempted 13 threes, and most of those were, kind of wild shots. They had 3 or 4 shot clock violations. They were just out of sorts, and a gruesome injury right there.
I was going to say they were tired to begin with because they had to play the one extra game, and they had used a lot of energy coming back against A&M.
Right.
And then very early in the game, like within the first 3 minutes, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
and it was right in front of me.
And it was gruesome.
It was in front of me.
So that was nasty.
It was bad.
Again, it's funny because we were talking after Jalen Williams how we hadn't seen a lot of big injuries like that in basketball in a while, and I mean there it was.
Yep. And we'll talk about the SEC and where they landed. We'll go through all that. Alabama faces that Florida team in their first game, and it was 102-88. Again, it's defense that should be concerning for Alabama fans. Scoring's not a problem. 88, 90, 95. Alabama regularly averages, somewhere around there. But just the ability to stop teams and ability to stop teams at the rim and has been an issue for Alabama. And they haven't been playing their best basketball the last, 3 or 4 weeks. But, now everybody's slate's clean. Reminds me a little bit about of how Auburn was playing last year. Auburn kind of limped into the NCAA tournament, not playing their best basketball, and they win the game against Iowa, and then they play a Houston team and play them good for a half, and they come out and go on like an 8-minute stretch and didn't score. And Houston was able to win the game and move on. Don't know what that'll translate like for Alabama. I do think Alabama's got a very favorable path to the Sweet 16. They'll take on Charleston in the first round. Probably Grand Canyon, would you say, in the second round?
I'd say St. Mary's in the second round.
I got Grand Canyon winning. I think
well, I've seen a lot of people pick that.
You look at and see what they've done. I kind of look back and to kind of see where they were as far as strength of schedule, how they play defense and all that. I don't know. It's a 5-12 matchup. A lot of times you see 12 beat 5, but
sure.
Grand Canyon's had a good year, 29-4. I think, St. Mary's obviously has kind of built a little bit of notoriety over the last several years, has been a pretty good program. So that'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if I can stay up for that one after the Alabama game. And, Alabama needed the rest. When Alabama first lost to Florida, what I had said was the worst things that can happen to Alabama in the SEC tournament are to make it to the championship game and lose. Because if you go to the championship game and lose, you expend a ton of energy for a team that's beat up and tired, and you don't get to hoist the trophy. That's awful. And I said the second worst thing is losing to Florida just for, the psyche. And the Florida loss was concerning, but I think Nate Oates said it best. He said, look, we're kind of beat up, and we need a couple of extra days. And as fate would have it, they're going to play Friday night. So it works out. They get a little bit extra rest, get a little bit more healthy.
Well, they needed to dadgum travel across the world.
Yeah, when you're traveling that far. And what's interesting about Alabama's bracket, and look, maybe you can do this with all the teams, but I always love to see, I always feel like the NCAA committee sort of builds in tie-ins for potential fun second-round matchups.
Right.
And I think about even in the third-round matchup, if Alabama were to get there, the 3 teams they play, you talk about North Carolina. Alabama got Jaron Stevenson from North Carolina, got him to reclassify, or he would have gone to North Carolina, I think. Or they could play Mississippi State, who is a traditional rival. Alabama's already played twice this year. Or they could play Michigan State, who's from a state where a lot of people thought Nate Oates would end up coaching again, and that's where Nate Oates is from. So just sort of interesting to me that they will play one of those 3 teams if they're lucky enough to make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, let's talk about Nate Oates. Let's talk about Kalen DeBoer when we come back. We're up against a break. We come back, there's a lot of money being slung around in Tuscaloosa. I'm talking about from the AD to the coaches to the janitors to the to the ball boys, to whoever, and I saw Gary Harris post something, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on Friday on this show, but man, it's a lot of money, a lot of confidence in Kalen DeBoer with an 8-year contract.
I think that's what you have to do if you want to go get somebody like that. I think Alabama could have taken a chance on somebody younger or something and given him less, but hey, if you fall back behind just a little bit in this conference, Auburn knows you start falling behind, it's tough to pull yourself back up.
It is.
Nobody feels sorry for you ever in the SEC in any sport.
No, you don't. We'll talk some more about that when we come back. Stay tuned. More to come after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika has a massive inventory of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Every make, every model. Quality pre-owned vehicles are available at Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram. Located at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika and online at opelikaFordChrysler.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. Hour and a half left in tonight's program. Again, like you said, the couple play-in games going on tonight. That Colorado State-Virginia game probably won't be terrible to watch, but it's not must-see TV by any stretch. But let's look at the East and the West for both Auburn and Alabama, and then we'll go back in. I want to talk about the salaries and everything for Nate Oates, details released, and then obviously Kalen DeBoer and the entire staff, what their pay is going to be. And, and Greg Byrne got a raise as well. So everybody, you get a raise, I get a raise, everybody gets a raise up in Tuscaloosa right now. But UConn in the East is the 1 seed. They'll take on Stetson, FAU and Northwestern. That's the 8-9. San Diego State, UAB. And then Auburn and Yale. And so UAB and San Diego State, the winner of that game will take on the winner of Auburn Yelp. I mean, I would think Auburn would take care of business there. In the bottom side, BYU, Duquesne, Illinois, Morehead State. Morehead State's where Janai Broome played. And so Washington State, Drake, and then Iowa State and South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, in there as the 15 seed. For Alabama, their West is North Carolina, the 1 seed. They'll take on the winner of the Montana State Grambling play-in game tomorrow. Mississippi State, Michigan State, the 8-9, St. Mary's and Grand Canyon we talked about, the 5-12. Alabama will play the winner of that game if they move through Charleston, which I don't think they'll have a problem with. Clemson on the bottom side will be the 6-11 Clemson, New Mexico Lobos, the 3-14 Baylor Colgate, 7-10 is Dayton, Nevada. And then 2 and the 15 is Arizona will be taking on Long Beach State. So there's a breakdown of the East-West and the path for both Auburn and Alabama to get to the Sweet 16 and then on even into the Elite 8 and maybe the Final 4 if they can make those runs. So just your overall, I guess, evaluation of where Alabama is right now going into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's concerning. I mean, it's concern in the sense that they're losing another coach. Now he's going to coach, I think, on the team through the tournament. Austin Claunch is going to be the head coach at UTSA, I believe, after this. And so that's 4 assistants that have left Nate Oates to be head coaches in the last year. And that's, I mean, look, that's awesome. That's a testament to his ability to recognize talent, but it isn't great necessarily for continuity. And look, I don't know what I'm going to get. I mean, if this team comes out refreshed, I feel like they can beat any. It's so cliche to say this, but I think Alabama can literally beat anybody if they're hitting. But if they're not hitting, they have nothing to fall back on.
Right.
You know, they don't have. If Alabama had Charles Bediako, I think that's worth 3 wins or 4 wins added to this team already. And I think they're a 2 seed instead of a 4 seed. Maybe even a 1 seed given the way this year's gone. But Charles Bediako didn't come back. That's water under the bridge. But they thought he would. And that's been –
once again, here we are.
Yeah, well, but he left for even – if he had transferred for more money, I'd say I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. But he took a shot at the pros, and now he's not in the pros. And, I mean, I'm sort of like –
happens so much.
Yeah, that sucks.
Janai Broome was on the cusp of doing that last year, decides to come back. Here's a nugget for you. Locally, it's a pretty good story. Clark James, that played locally here, is a walk-on at Alabama. Really hasn't been on the team that much, but been part of the team. Will be making the trip out west. Will be taking the place of another walk-on. The team told the coaches to ask Clark to go. And they said yes.
Okay.
And the coaches have been very high on Clark with his, film study and, what he does and the work he puts in, and it stood out to them. So, hey, man, congrats, Clark. We're pulling for you. Awesome opportunity to be able to say you were there on the bench, for a March Madness game. I mean,
so you can't beat it.
No, so he's there. So congratulations to Clark again from this area. Played at Horseshoe Bend High School. Played for a good friend of ours, Chad Keeson, and Coach Keeson's very, very happy for him, which he should be. I think that's an awesome opportunity. Just kind of like you with Leor. I mean, his family, and even though he's Auburn, and you pull for kids, and their background, and you want to see them do well, and we do that here. For any of our kids locally that move on to have an opportunity to play at the next level. So let's talk about these salaries for a second. Nate Oates, kind of give the skinny on the Nate Oates deal.
Yeah, he's gotten a nice bump, and he's really signed, I think, through 2030, essentially.
Right.
And he's got a monstrous buyout now. And look, I think it's pretty clear Greg Byrne, he wants to stay at Alabama. He wants Nate Oates to stay. He wants Caleb DeBoer there. He also hired this baseball coach, Rob Vaughn, who's doing a hell of a job right now. And I think that Greg Byrne is like, I sort of got it where I want it. And he needed a little bit more money himself to fend off some overtures from other schools. He's got it here. He's got full control. Byrne is sort of the new Saban. You know, like Saban was, you know, we would have an athletic director, but everybody knew it all goes through Saban.
Sure.
Now Byrne is sort of taking up that role, it seems, and he's doing a good job with it. And look, this is sort of where it is, where the market is. And if you're going to play big boy and all these different things, you're going to have to shell out that kind of dough. And look, it doesn't look great for everybody else in terms of, gosh, you know, you got enough money to do this and got enough money to do that, but you can't, you know, do this or you know, you got people working a lot harder, making a lot less kind of thing. But it just is what it is. And other schools are going to do this too. Everybody sort of right now is the time to overpay if you want to keep what you have and keep some continuity.
You know, if you got good people and you want to keep them, it just is the way of the world. And if not, you're going to be constantly turning over. And if you feel confident that you got the guys in place that can lead the programs the way you want to lead them or the way they've been leading them, then, you know, they have the leverage. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Well, and if you're Alabama, I mean, you are one of those programs that, I mean, Alabama has a nice tradition, arguably the second best tradition in the SEC. The problem is Kentucky has owned the SEC for so long, people forget anybody else in the SEC.
Right.
Now, that's changing, obviously, you know, over the years, and Kentucky hadn't been winning.
Shoot, the last 8 years, I mean.
But if you're Alabama, you're sort of like, okay, we really want to keep Nate Oates, so we're going to have to make a serious commitment. I think Byrne said, I'm going to put my neck out for you, but you got to produce. And I think they understand that. And look, the first thing Nate Oates has done is gone out and get this kid from Pepperdine. I think his name is Millette. I think that's how you said it. I'm not 100%. I'll have to look that up. But good player. And I think they're going to hit the portal some more because Alabama will have players hit the portal.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. Everybody will. Everybody will. So you got to be on top of it, and it's tough. And it's tougher to be a college basketball now than ever before, trying to coddle everybody and know who's going and who's not going and who's going to go somewhere but come back and who's going to, you know. And
I think something's got to change sooner than later, though, with all this.
I mean, can you imagine Pat Dye trying to work out all the details and trying to coddle kids with their NIL deal? I mean, you can't imagine it. And
it wouldn't have happened.
It's the way it is. Nate Oates is now one of the top 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball. And I look, it was bad timing because Friday they ended up getting blown out by Florida. I have no problem saying that, but I think you got to look big picture. And you got to say, hey, this is about as good a run as Alabama's been on. I know that there was a time there we went to several Sweet 16s. Wimp Sanderson won 3 SEC tournaments in a row. It's just a different time. And I have no problem saying I think Nate Oates is the best man for this job. And I like him a ton. His family seems like Alabama. And Michigan opened up. Look, pretty soon Tom Izzo's going to retire. Maybe not this year or next year, but he's going to do it soon.
It's coming.
And so you better be ready to fend off those people because he's going to be in high demand.
You know, and the same with Bruce Pearl. You know, you look over at him, and every time a Louisville job opens up or, you know, Indiana or anything, you know, you just hear rumblings of – but I think Bruce Pearl's entrenched in this area. I think he's got a lot invested. I think it goes back to what you said with Nate Oates. You like where you are. You feel like, you know, you kind of got a good thing going.
Well, he just turned 64 too, right? Yesterday?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, Jim Larinaga was 712 when he went to Miami or whatever.
Exactly.
But it's not out of the question.
But I think he's getting ready to, you know, look toward.
I think Pearl can say, look, I can do this 4 to 6 more years, then go to Lake Martin, you know.
Right.
And
right.
And my son could probably take over.
Right.
Now, you know, that may be the succession plan. I don't know.
But again, you know, I think, you know, Auburn, what he's been able to do, I mean, there's no doubt I would see a raise in his future too. So, and how that's going to work out. But Auburn just gave him a bump not too long ago. And
what's he making annually?
I don't know. I don't have it. I mean, he was in the top 15 at the last time. So, you know, I don't know exactly what that number is. I can look it up during the break. But anyway, I think the common denominator here is, and I sent that to you guys yesterday, since 2018, Alabama or Auburn, save 2020, has either won the regular season or the tournament or both in the same year.
Well, Tennessee did it one time. Well, that was the 2020.
Well, Kentucky won the regular season in 2020.
Okay.
Tennessee,
Tennessee won the tournament.
They won the regular. Yeah, they won the tournament one time.
Oh, and that was when Auburn won the SEC.
That's right. So, and I think they won the tournament once and the regular season once. They've done it twice.
They did tie for the regular season.
So, so anyway, and it was crazy. You said, how many times do you think Arkansas has won the tournament since they've been in the SEC? And it was one. And you know who they beat? Auburn.
That's right.
And Auburn made it to I believe it was Marquise Daniels.
It was. That wasn't a great Auburn team. It's not a bad team.
It was a pretty good team.
Boy.
Was it 05, 04?
I wanted to say it was. I looked it up. It was like 01 or something.
Okay, maybe it may have been 01.
Or 2000. I mean, something
like that. But anyway, that was who it was. And that's hard to believe.
And here's something else I sent to y'all that I like. It just dawned on me to look at it because Jimmy Stein and I on Locked On Bama were talking about. Okay, there were some people, this is before the raise and all that. We were like, you better give Nate Oates a raise. And there were some people killing him saying, well, we fell down the stretch. Yeah, we did. We sure did. Now, tell me somebody who you think will be consistently awesome every single time. And I'll tell you that person ain't coming to Alabama. And I'll tell you that person may not even exist because guess what? Kansas didn't win their league or win their tournament.
Right.
And they faltered. So, I mean, it just happens sometimes. Basketball's a little bit different than football. It's a lot easier to build a team very quickly and a lot easier to fall down the drain very quickly. Now, what I said was, I said, I bet Alabama's in there in terms of teams that have made the NCAA tournament the most recently in succession. The longest stretch now is Michigan State, which I think is now 26 straight tournaments.
Good Lord.
That's kind of ridiculous.
That's
I think
crazy.
Second is Gonzaga at either 24 or 25. But then you know who's next. Purdue with 9. So there's a monstrous gap. And then there's another little gap, and there's a bunch of teams that were at 4. Now and Alabama's at 4 now.
Right.
So they've all been bumped, the teams that made it bumped up to 5. But what it told me was, Duke hasn't even made it the last 5 years. They've at best, I didn't look it up, they've at best made it as many years in a row as Alabama has. So it's basketball. It can be weird.
Yep. And it's hard to win.
It's hard.
Because, I mean, look at Michigan State. How many times did you say? 20?
I think they're 26 straight times.
Okay, how many national championships have they won in that span? One?
I think one. Now, they played for a couple.
But still, how many have they won? To make that many tournaments.
Only won one. Has he only won one?
I think he's only won one.
He beat Florida for one. I know that.
He may have to. But it's hard, though. I mean,
it is.
Look at Kentucky. I mean, Calipari at Kentucky. Did he win one yet?
Calipari won one at Kentucky, but he's
right at the very beginning.
Yeah, right at the very beginning, and he hadn't done much.
My gosh, since 18, he ain't sniffed hardly much anything.
And what's funny is Dick Vitale picks them to win it all this year. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I can see it. I could also see him getting beat in the first round.
And they have twice in the last 3 years. They have been knocked out.
And again, back to my original point. We talk about Tom Izzo and Michigan State's made it 26, and that's unbelievable. And guess what? One of the times I picked them to win it all was the time they lost to Tennessee State as a 2 seed.
Stacy said Izzo has just one title.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Jerome said has a number one, has a 15 seed ever won a national championship. That's no.
I think the lowest that's ever won it
is a 7 or 8.
Yeah, it was NC State, and they were a 6 when they had that miracle.
Now, George Mason made it to the Final Four.
They made the Final Four, and then Kentucky played UConn, I think, and that was like a 7-8 or 2 8s. And I think an 8.
I think 8's the lowest.
And I think UConn won it. I think they were an 8.
Yep. All right, we're going to take another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Sportz Night Guard. Now, the Sportz Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Sportz Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to sportznightguard.com and order yours today.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. All right, so as of five days ago, so Nate Oates has been bumped up since then, but Bill Self is one with a $9.6 million per year contract. Calipari is at 8.5. He's 2. Tom Izzo 3, 6.2. And Bruce Pearl is 4, along with Rick Barnes at 5.7. So I remember that first bump was inside the top 15 for Bruce Pearl, and then he got another one and then knocked him up into the top 5. Nate Oates going from $4.5 million up to $5 million. He will be at the 6 or 7 ranking, depending on the incentives and all that. So Dan Hurley and Scott Drew for Baylor and UConn making $5.1 and $5 million respectively. Brad Underwood at Illinois, 4.7. Kelvin Sampson at Houston, 4.6. Rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Sampson probably top 2 for a raise. He's done.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, look what he's done the last couple of years for Houston. So, anyway, that's a look at the top salaries there. Just kind of interesting to see. And, I mean, there's Alabama and Auburn right there in the top 10 of top highest paid coaches. And you know what? The ROI for both of those guys is pretty dang good.
I would say it's better than a Musselman or, look, Musselman's team fell off a cliff this year.
Oh, that was a disaster.
And
they had a lot of off-court stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a mess.
We don't know if they were off the court or on the court when that was going on.
Or in the stands.
If you know what I was talking about. But anyway, so Musselman, it's
he's just a weird dude.
He is not
getting in the locker room, doing the sit-ups in front of everybody. I mean,
he's not ball, and I mean, not a great time to be an Arkansas fan overall. I mean, except for the baseball.
Hey,
baseball's number 1.
Oh well, they're. I mean, yeah,
they come to Auburn this week.
They do, yeah.
Jeez.
So that'll be a fun one. But anyway,
you want to get one though.
Yeah, you got to get one, and that's where Auburn messed up this weekend. They didn't get one. at Vanderbilt. Had a chance to win the Sunday game and didn't do it. This is a meat grinder league. Texas A&M came into the league play undefeated, and they lost 2 or 3. So LSU lost 2 or 3. There were 3 teams that got swept. Auburn
they
was one
lost
of
2 or
them.
3 to Mississippi State team that we all have been wondering what the heck's wrong with them.
Right.
They've been losing to everybody.
I mean, it's just here you go, man. I mean, you've got to come ready to play every single weekend. If not, you're going to get beat, man. And that's just the way it is. There's no other way to spin it. Kind of going back to this tournament, let's look at Alabama's game first with Charleston. 27-7 mark for Charleston. That game will be at 6:35 on True TV. Alabama comes in at 21-11. The majority of those losses came early in the year. And, in a tough schedule. And then scattered the other half of the losses through the SEC schedule. So, but Alabama is the highest scoring team in the country at 90.8 points per game. They are allowing a boatload of points too, though. That's where you look at most teams are allowing, in the 70s, low to mid 70s is where you want your defense to be, and Alabama's giving up over 80 there. But Alabama shoots it when they're on at a high rate at 47.7% and a really good rate from behind the arc at 36.5. That's where they really run the score up on people. For Charleston, they're only allowing 58 points a game. This will be an interesting matchup. They're only scoring 74, but they're only allowing 58. Now, I know they don't play in the league. They don't play in the SEC, but can defense travel in this game? Can it be kind of an X factor to kind of maybe hold Alabama down, at least make it a game?
Well, if you're Alabama, defense isn't going to travel because there's no defense to take with you.
Right.
So,
but I'm saying Charleston's defense traveling.
And look, Alabama's just got to be hitting, and they need Breitzel healthy, fully healthy. They need, Mark Sears on his game.
Griffin.
Somehow Mark Sears, every game scores 22 no matter what. I mean, it's like it's crazy. He can start with 0 points, or he can have 22 in the first half. He's going to end up with 22. And one other thing I wanted to throw out there, this seems a little bit off topic, but you were talking about Alabama's record. I think the committee sent the clearest message they can possibly send to everybody.
You mean that committee sent some kind of message?
I do. Now, I do think the sending all the Alabama teams out west is a little
I think
screwy.
we could have took a live look and busted your theory, and they're all pulling a team out of a hat.
Probably.
Good.
But I do think they sent a message in the sense of, we want you to play in big game. We want you to play a difficult schedule. Sure. We want you to play big games and because maybe this is me thinking way too much of the committee. I do think they made a lot of mistakes, don't get me wrong. At the same time, if their goal is, hey, we want to encourage people to schedule good, fun games for people to watch in November and December,
sure.
then I'm for it. If they just did this by happenstance, then I'm like, y'all really screwed up. But if your message is everybody needs to schedule tougher, then I am here for that. Because and I know everybody said, well, Alabama lost a lot of their tough games. They certainly did. But you got to go play them. And they were in them, and when you go play Purdue in Toronto, where it's the home of Zach Edey, I guess they found that Sasquatch walking around somewhere and shaved him down. And then you go play Arizona in Phoenix, you go play Creighton in Creighton, you're going to lose. Not a lot of teams win those games. So
and battle tested, no doubt. And so I think it helped them in the SEC.
And I feel like that's the message, and I want to see more of that. I don't mind everybody having a Alabama State, no offense to Alabama State or whoever, on their schedule, because Alabama does it too. I'm all for that. But I think it is more fun when you play a Baylor or a Memphis or a UCLA or a whatever. And,
Auburn started out and they went out and played Baylor and lost a close game. And, they played a Notre Dame team and ended up not being very good. And, there were some games on the schedule. They play USC at home. They returned that favor. Auburn went out last year and played Washington and USC, and then they came back and played, and USC ended up not being very good. But I think it, wasn't as strong, obviously, as Alabama's non-conference early in the year. But Auburn did play some named teams and were able to win those games, except for the Baylor game. But, again, preparing yourself, I don't think Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates, either one, shy away from big games. You know, a lot of times you go and play in these tournaments. And I know Auburn played in that one in Brooklyn. You know, it was scheduled 2 years in advance. And you don't know how teams are going to be from one year to the next. You know, Notre Dame's had a good team for a while, and then it kind of dropped off. And, you know, in this world.
Who else was in that one? I forget.
I want to.
Now, on that same token, I know Auburn plays in the Maui Invitational next year, right?
Yeah, they do. This year. Yeah, UConn.
Well, I mean, I say next basketball season.
Yeah, UConn, Colorado. I think there's 4 or 5 of the top 10 or 15 teams in the country right now are in it. So.
Now, the talk is Alabama will play in an 18 tournament in Vegas. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Okay. They had never done this tournament before. But the way they're going to set it up is that the players, whoever, are going to get a piece of the pie. So all the players come to this tournament in Las Vegas. You play this tournament of some description. There's $1 million up for grabs or something like that. And in the end, the winning team is going to get more money. I mean, I don't remember exactly how it works, but I was thinking, this is exactly where we're headed. And
I mean, it just. I'm sorry, dude. I want the players to make money. I don't agree with that at all. It's not college anymore, man. It just isn't. I mean, here's the lineup: North Carolina, UConn, Michigan State, Memphis, Iowa State, Dayton, Colorado, and Auburn. That's pretty stout.
While you got the Googler up, look up Las Vegas basketball tournament and see what it says.
Okay.
Because it is something like that, and it is very frightening in the sense that, all right, so what's next? That players will say, I'm not going to play this conference game on the road unless I get X. I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, I know that some players for various teams said, hey, I'm not getting on the plane unless we work out this deal, before the bowl game. So those things are already happening. And because there's no contract to bind anybody to perform.
Right.
You wonder. Now, you can say, well, their scholarship is their contract. Well, I mean, if you cut them and if they're good enough, somebody else is going to pick them right up.
There's really nothing out on that that I'm seeing. It says, I mean, everything's pulling up. It's the Pac-12 tournament that was there. But it says tickets on sale for 2024 anyway. See if you can find it. We're going to go ahead and take an extended break. We've got to catch up on spots. We come back, hour number 2 right after this.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 SLT, now available with up to $13,000 off. Purchase the roomy GMC Terrain SLT discounted up to $8,750 off, and the GMC Acadia AT4 all-wheel drive discounted up to $7,000 off. Enjoy no payments till summertime at Glenn Smith GMC. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City, Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
It's truck season at Sarah Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at Sarah Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at Sarah Honda, Tony Sarah Ford, Sarah Nissan, and Sarah Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Gorey at Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the madness of March. Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's % discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 here on Sports Blitz Live. We appreciate you joining us wherever it is you're tuning us in. You can call us 56234-6221. I haven't looked at an update. You kind of got a little bit of information. By the way, Wagner wins over Howard 71-68. I know everybody was on the edge of their seat for that one. And coming up here in about 6 minutes, Colorado State and Virginia will tip off. So, you looked up the information on the Vegas tournament.
All right, so it will be 8 teams next year, apparently. It hadn't all been finalized. Each team that is invited will get $1 million that will be contributed to the NIL or collective of that particular school. The team that wins it, the whole tournament, will get an extra $1 million. And what I told Brett during the break was, it's one thing if you are shooting a free throw to win the national, or shooting a three-pointer to win the national championship for your team, or go to the Final Four or whatever, and you miss it. Look, everybody's like, man, that hurts. I mean, it hurts.
But you know what? That's the way life rolls.
But if you miss it, and there was $1 million on the line that you were going to get probably a nice share of, all of a sudden you aren't very sympathetic. You're pretty upset. And I just hate that that's where this is going. And I wonder if that's going to be the new way all these tournaments are. Instead of looking at the Maui Invitational like, hey, man, we get a free trip to Maui. We get to go play all these teams. We get to do all this fun stuff, go to Hawaii. I mean, how many times have I've never been to Hawaii. How many times?
I'm planning on going in November, but, I hope I can.
And ain't nobody giving you nothing for
it. I don't get squat. Yeah. But a bill.
Yeah. But, so I just don't like.
Look, we talked about this Saturday, and look, we can spend however much more time the second hour on this, and I think it's worth it. I think it's a good talk. We live in a self-centered, self-serving society, and you know what? We used to say, and people, you were at football games, and kid would do bad, and everybody booed, and they go, man, you don't need to be booing the kid. Well, guess what? All boos are on the table now because most of these guys are getting paid, and if you want the money and you want the responsibility, well, you got to take the heartache that goes with not performing. And, the kid steps up to the free throw line, he misses a dang free throw to cost his team, he's going to catch hell. I mean, there's just no other way to spin it. And because now you're including the monetary aspect of the deal. Going back to some comments here, Stacy said Bill Self has almost caught up with Luke over there in salary. So, So he said Charleston's a good team, but they have not beaten a good team all season. I'm not sure they can run with or slow down Alabama. I don't either.
I feel good about it, but
you should. I think Auburn should take care of Yale, but it's March Madness, man. I mean, I don't think Virginia expected to lose in the first round last year. I don't think Purdue expected to lose in the first round when they did.
I don't even remember who they lost.
Fairleigh Dickinson, man. Yeah. Oh, Farley Dickinson. But you're seeing more upset. Have you noticed that? We went all these years, and it was like 115 over a 2, and no 16 seeds had ever beaten a 1, and now we've gotten a couple of 16 seeds beating 1s.
And it makes sense now. That's when the big boys are like, look, we fight all year long against each other, beat each other up. We're the ones on TV. We're the ones making all the money. And then UMBC rolls up here. They get hot one night and beat us, and they're the darlings of everything.
I know that TV station beat them.
I know.
UMBC.
And so if I'm the big boys, I'm like, hey, I don't want to give them a venue. It's the same argument to me about, I know David Jones was talking about the other day about Alabama playing UAB. I'm like, look, I no offense to UAB, but as an Alabama fan, and I know there's some bad blood, but even if there weren't bad blood there, I'd be like, it doesn't help Alabama. It can only hurt, and that's the truth. And so it's sort of like playing that 16 versus 1. It doesn't help if you beat somebody 80-6. You're like, you're supposed to beat them. Right. And if you only win by 10, people think, what's wrong with you? And then, God forbid you lose, Matt Painter, I mean, he didn't be able to live
I think Auburn, when we were number 1 seed back in 99, played Wofford. And, ended up blowing them out. But, there at the beginning, it was kind of a little bit of and you're sitting there going, Lord, please don't be the first.
Yeah.
And Virginia ended up being the first number 1 seed to get beat by a 16 seed. I can't remember who it was that beat them. Was it UMBC?
Yeah.
It was UMBC.
Yeah, it was UMBC.
It was UMBC that beat Virginia. So,
I almost went to Wofford, by the way.
Did you?
I almost went to Wofford and played basketball and loved it. One of the most beautiful campuses you've ever been. Tell you a funny story.
It's in South Carolina, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell you a quick funny story about Wofford. So I was an AHSAA at Alabama Sigma Alpha Epsilon in the fraternity, and we went to one year we went to leadership school. There were 4 of us. AHSAAs Alabama were always in trouble. And so, and we were always kicked off campus, but we had finally been on campus long enough and hadn't screwed up, so we were going to get this thing called the Noble Leslie DeVoe Award, and we were going to accept it, right? So it was in Chicago. That's where the headquarters is. Even though Alabama is Mother Mew, that was the first SAE ever. Well, so you have to go to all these classes. Now, I skipped most of them. So did everybody that went with me. That was one of the reasons we got almost got kicked off.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because it was Chicago and it was beer. But so I did go to one of the classes, and it was about hazing. You know, and the hazing, and they say you just can't haze. You can't beat them. You can't hurt them. Talking about your
You
pledges.
just thought you couldn't be in a haze.
Yeah, you could. You can't make them do your laundry. You can't make them go buy beer for you. You can't make them ride your mother-in-law or girlfriend
And you
around.
said, "Watch
You can't
this."
do all this. And so I was just sitting there, and I was bored out of my skull because I'm like, of course you say you can't do that, you know.
But
of course,
we are.
People still
But
do
we
that.
are.
Well, I'll never forget this. It is in my brain. If I saw this guy, I'd recognize him this many years later. So there's this one guy
Look like Zach Eady.
with Wofford. He was sitting there with a Wofford T-shirt on, and he was sitting there, and you could tell he was getting madder and madder and madder. And he finally raised his hand. This guy had been talking about all the stuff you can't do for hazing for 28 minutes. And the class is only 30 minutes. Finally, that kid raised his hand and said, okay, listen, if you can't beat them, what are you supposed to do to them? And I said, y'all are going on probation. I don't know much for sure, but I know y'all are in some trouble.
I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that. And,
what did they say to it?
I mean, literally, the guy stopped the class and just stared. And then
Like,
it was
have you
sort of
heard
over.
anything I've said for 28 minutes?
After that, we just left. I mean, it was really, we kind of split it up. Like, everybody's supposed to go to all the classes. We said, Luke, you go to this one, skip the next 8, and then you go to this one, skip the next 8, and then, so it worked
Does
out.
anybody ever go to classes on those conventions or anything like that?
They're so bad.
They're
and
bad.
so boring.
And the guy giving the presentation don't want to be there either.
No, this guy did. He was pretty fired up.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Listen,
most of the people don't want to be there.
We learned very quickly that when you're in some of these fraternities, like Alabama does have a reputation, sort of too cool for school, kind of frat boy kind of thing. And we had people come. I'll never forget this too. By the way, we had a guy. This has turned into the fraternity blitz, but we had a guy come through, and so they had rush. And most of the guys, you know, like if they're from the West Coast, something, they're like, "Hey guys, how's it going? What do we all get together and, you know, do we say the fraternity pledge together and whatever?" And we're like, "We don't do any of that crap. Get out of here. You're not getting a bin." And so, but there was one time that all these people were rushing, right, and this big crowd of people, and there was this guy. I mean, Brett, I'm kidding you not. He had on a T-shirt and Jams. Remember Jams?
Oh, I remember Jams. Heck yeah, I remember Jams.
He had on like aqua socks or something. And he was like 42, I think he was. And so, you know, he's coming through and he's like looking at everything. I go, if I'm lying, I'm dying.
Is this Revenge of the Nerd?
I'm sitting there with another guy, and I said, sir, you know, is your son here? Do you want? He goes, no, I'm rushing myself. I said, sir, what are you talking? He said, yeah, you know, I made a bunch of money. He said, I never went to college. I made a bunch of money early, and I've retired early, and I just want to experience college again. And he said, so I'm going around, and he said, I've heard Alabama's Greek system is the best Greek system there is, and I just want to be part of the best. And we all said, all we could think was, the first time this mother comes out on a swap date, and the woman goes, you know, like, it's just, and he was so mad. Like, the rumor was he called the university, like, later and said, nobody gave me a bid. And I'm sure that.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I can say this now that I'm retired, okay? But we had a guy that came, and, again, it's not discrimination. I mean, I know that's where you're going with it. But, I mean, it's a matter of who you hanging with and who you going to be around. So, you know, I was over Ambassadors forever at CAC, and we had a guy probably in his 40s say, well, can I apply for the Ambassador Scholarship? I'm like, you can.
You can apply.
You can apply. Absolutely. You can go through the process.
Wad it up.
But, I mean, it's like really, man? I mean, again, I'm not saying they can't do it, and they're not going to, and somebody can't be an ambassador at 44 years old, but why would you want to be?
Well, and that's what I said. Can you imagine us trying to like initiate a 42-year-old man in jams and aqua socks? What are we going to do with
now,
you, sir?
the only part of that you just said that would have been ding, ding, ding for me is like, you said you made a lot of money and you just retired.
Well, exactly.
Hey.
But no, I had a feeling we didn't even want any of his money. Now we probably would have taken it.
Yeah, you would have taken
But
it.
we would have had to just run him off or something. But I mean, can you imagine him getting drinks for people at the football games?
Oh God. I mean, it just, again, sometimes you just don't fit. You know, it's just like, and you know, the one that was trying to be an ambassador, he's like, well, you know, I just don't think I'm going to get a fair. I'm like, man, I'm not going to get into all that. You almost kind of feel like it was a setup.
I feel like
you kind of felt like he was going to, like what you said, the guy called the president and all that. I kind of felt like that's what was about to happen.
Listen, as a now 51-year-old man, I can say this, that I think once you pass a certain age, if you regret not doing something, I know all the commercials and motivational posters of cats hanging onto a ledge and hanging their baby, and I know all the sayings, tough times don't last, tough people do. I know all that stuff. But if you're about 50, 51 years old like yours truly, and you have some regret about something you didn't do back in college, you just live with that regret.
You just have to,
don't try it.
Just have to let it ride.
Go at 50. Don't go to spring break. Don't do it. At best, you'll get arrested for stalking. At worst, it's going to be much worse. So just live with the regret. I live with regret every day about so many things. And I'm regretting being here right now. I'm regretting telling y'all this. But I'm telling you, at 50,
sometimes you just got to let it ride,
man.
You
just got to let it ride. You're old now. Yeah. I'm old.
So it's part of it. Time moves on.
At the break, y'all don't know this. At the break, if Brett or one of us gets up to go get a drink, the first thing we do is go, oh, just trying to get out of the chair.
Yeah, we didn't do that 20 years ago, did we?
No, we popped out and ran to the thing.
I know, we were back. Heck, we just, like, how many breaks we running this time?
And you know, Brett, here's another thing about me. Like, I am 51, but I've always had a baby face, right? I can't grow one of those little goatees you get. I can, it'd look a little screwed up. Well, now, I used to be able to go about 3 or 4 days without shaving. It would come out a little bit. Well, now it's coming out, but it's like I got the mange. It's like I have an affliction. So now, and it's part of it's white. I went right past gray. It's like white,
just snow white,
and not even all of it. No, it's not a cool white. It's like there's two whites and a bunch of blacks, and there's one scraggly one over here. There's going to be.
You kind of look like Rasheed Wallace's hair. You know, back when he's in North Carolina, he had that spot in his head. It's like, man, what's wrong? What's wrong with you, dude? You got a big gray spot in your afro up there.
It's not long. I'm going to be looking like Larry David is what I'm worried about.
We're going to go to break on that one. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz or Frat Blitz or whatever right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU-SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, letting you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's truck season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful full-size and fully loaded Chevrolet Silverado LTZ, discounted up to $11,000 off, or the roomy midsize 3-row SUV, the Chevy Traverse, discounted up to $7,750 off, and the perfect size Chevy Equinox up to $7,750 off. No payments until summertime. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 40 minutes left in tonight's show. We appreciate all of you out there watching and listening to us wherever it is that you're tuning us in. SEC teams in the tournament outside of Alabama and Auburn, we've already talked about that. Kentucky, a 3 seed, taking on Oakland. That will be at 6:10 on CBS on 3/21, which will be on a Thursday. Mississippi State versus Michigan State, also on a Thursday at 11:15 on CBS. Samford versus Kansas, 8:55 on TBS. That's also on Thursday. South Carolina and Oregon at 3 o'clock on TNT, a Thursday game. And Tennessee versus St. Peter's there on TNT on 8:20, the nightcap there.
Was that last year St. Peter's beat Kentucky?
I think it was. Gosh. Either that or year before. May have been the year before.
May have been the year before.
But I do remember it was I want to say Kentucky's lost in the first round 2 out of the last 3 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of – I mean, John Calipari, man, what's the deal?
Well, you know, it feels like and Calipari's always emphasized high school versus transfer portal.
Right.
Now he had the big kid from West Virginia that rebounded so well for him for a couple years. Obviously, that was kind of unstoppable at times. But you know, maybe he should emphasize. I don't know why Kentucky doesn't say to whoever the best players. Look at the All-American teams. By the way, congratulations to Mark Sears and Janai Broome for making the second and first team All-American teams. That's pretty awesome. When's the last time you saw a guy from Alabama, and a guy from Auburn on the two teams in the same year? But anyway,
again, goes back to the standard of basketball in the state now.
Yeah.
And
so, but if you were Kentucky, you would think that they'd say, okay, whoever, if you're not at Kansas or you're not at Michigan State or North Carolina or Duke or something, I can buy whoever I want to, you know. So
right.
You would think they'd want to get some senior leadership. Now that Reed Shepherd kid is out of this world, and
he's
so is
amazing.
Austin Reeves. That kid's awesome. But you know, overall, and they got some other good players. But boy, they'd be so much better if they had some kind of senior leader.
Well, I mean, I think that's what Rick Pitino was talking about.
Yeah.
Again, you know, take out everything he's done in the past, what you think about him personally. He's right here, and you know, go and find that clip. He was on a podcast. He was talking about it, and
that's a good point. Like a bad person can still have a good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just because he's made a bunch of mistakes and done a bunch of crap that's, you know, I guess unethical and immoral, whatever, still doesn't make him an idiot. I mean, it still make him stupid.
Well, he's still in pretty high demand too. By the way.
Right. And he's made his rounds. He's at St. John's now. All right. So Texas A&M on Friday will take on Nebraska. Florida will take on the winner of this game. It's about to happen right now, Virginia, Colorado State, 3:30 on TBS, and then UAB and San Diego State will play at 12:45 and TNT on Friday. All right, so are there any SEC teams going to go down right here in the first round?
You know, filling out my bracket, I think I had all of them win in the first round.
I think I did too.
I mean, I'm a complete homer.
Well, I think I struggled a little bit with Florida.
Yeah, because of the injury.
Because of the injury, and then Virginia and Colorado State. I mean, they're not bad teams, and it's a 10-7 matchup. But I did end up picking the Gators because they have been playing. And again, they'll have some rest. I think they'll get things kind of going back again.
And it is weird. Florida, I mean, granted, Indianapolis isn't right up the road from Gainesville or anything.
Right.
But they're a 7 seed, and Alabama and Auburn are 4 seeds.
Right.
And have to go much further distance. I mean, it's just the way the ball bounces.
Can Sanford knock off Kansas?
Well, you know, Kansas, they just lost. I know one of their players are going to shut him down for the tournament that was averaging about 14 points a game.
I still think
Kansas wins. I mean, look, Sanford doesn't have any size. They've got
they got one big dude.
They got a dude. He's not super huge, but he's got a little Janai Broom in him. Like, just got good moves around the basket.
Sure.
Sanford is good. I mean, they've won 25 games for a reason.
Tip your hat to Bucky McMillan moving from, taking the job from Mountain Brook and going to Sanford, and Sanford's really never done anything. I mean, for the most part, and he's put them on the map, man. And
wouldn't shock me if he got an opportunity somewhere.
I heard Vanderbilt's really looking at
So
it.
there were some folks that were talking about that, but I think Vanderbilt's going to go something a little bit different. It sounds like they're going to go with somebody a little bit more established, and there are some other issues potentially with Bucky apparently that are at least rumored. But I can tell you this: I've talked to him a few times. He is a super guy.
Yeah.
And I think he knows his stuff, and
he's already proven that.
He's won at Mountain Brook, he's won at Sanford now. I think he'll win wherever he goes, and I think I did have somebody kind of close to the Mississippi State program tell me, hey, if Jans were to leave for somewhere, which Chris Jans done a pretty good job.
Chris Jans has done outstanding.
If he were to leave for somewhere,
He'd have a
then their
chance.
first call probably would be Bucky.
Really? It's pretty interesting. I think he does end up landing in the SEC eventually. Go ahead and take another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple of segments left on tonight's show. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Meat Grinder League Baseball, Luke. Jeez. I mean, this is I don't know what else to call it. You look at the standings right now, Vanderbilt, Kentucky at 3-0 in the East, Florida at 2-1, Tennessee and South Carolina at 1-2, and Georgia and Missouri are 0-3 on the.
Yeah, but then you see Georgia's record; they're 17-4,
and they are ranked in the top 10.
Yeah. So I mean, who'd they get swept by? I guess by Kentucky.
I think Kentucky swept Georgia. Okay. Arkansas, number 1 team in the country, 17-2, 3-0. Alabama's 17-3, 2-1. They got a big series win over Tennessee.
That's an uplifting moment for this baseball team, and they needed it. And it shows you.
You better win them at home. You better win your look. And I know that's easier said than done. I mean, but like for Auburn, already down 0-3. You better find a way to win one at least against Oregon. And look, Coach Thompson was on the Auburn Blitz about a month ago before the season started, and he said, look, you want to see who we opened up with? We opened up with Vanderbilt on the road and Arkansas at home.
And then at A&M.
And then at A&M. And then Tennessee back home. That's Auburn's first. Auburn's got the hardest schedule in the country by D1 baseball. But he said out of the first two series, it's arguably the two best programs in the conference over the last decade. He said, man, if we go 3-3 in that series, and those big time, you're way ahead of the game. Right now, it's more realistic to think 2-4. Or maybe even 1-5, and you feel pretty good about it. And it's hard to think that you say you feel good about being 1-5, but dadgum, man, you just played Vanderbilt, who was number 7, and you're number 12. Auburn was ranked 12th, and then you got Arkansas coming in at number 1.
Yeah, and then I think A&M's number 3, maybe.
A&M was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the D1 baseball poll.
Where's Auburn now?
I don't know where they dropped.
But yes, I mean, look, Missouri is the only really bad program in baseball.
Yeah, they're not, and they're
just
not good
either. They're not. Missouri's not pulling their weight. But in baseball specifically, they are just bad. I mean, they have a losing record, and that's tough to do in the SEC when you hadn't gotten any play good yet.
All right, Auburn dropped to 23 from 12. All right, here is the poll. Arkansas 1, Vanderbilt 3, LSU 5, Florida 6, A&M 7, Tennessee 8, Alabama 11, future SEC opponent Oklahoma 17.
Is Texas in there?
Yeah, I skipped over them. They're where is Texas? They were in the top 10.
Maybe they're not. Maybe you saw A&M.
No, but they were. I thought they were up there the other day, and I skipped over them. But I don't see them listed anymore. I don't know what happened. Mississippi State's 21, Auburn's 23, and South Carolina just fell out, and Texas did fall out. They're out. So they're like 28. So, I mean, good God.
Georgia's in there, right?
Georgia is not ranked.
Okay, because they're 17-4. Now they're 0-3. Kentucky's got to be in there after they had a good start. Right?
They're not ranked.
Wow.
They're not in D1 baseball.
God, Kentucky starts the year 3-0. Kentucky's got a record of 17-3, and they're unranked. That's one of your layups in the SEC.
Yeah, it's not a layup. I mean, and look, I mean, that's the craziness about this league. So, A&M was undefeated going into league play at 17-0. They end up losing their first series and going 1-2. So, just welcome to the league, man. And then, you know, it's no different in softball. It's no different in gymnastics. It's no different in any sport in this league right now. And then, you know, to add Texas and Oklahoma. You look at Oklahoma right now in softball and gymnastics. They're the number one team on the women's side in softball and gymnastics. Look at their baseball program, ranked in the top 25. Look at Texas right now, one of the top football programs in the country. Usually a really good basketball program. Always great in baseball. Softball, really good program. Just golf. And it just gets rougher and rougher and rougher.
Boy, I can't, you know, I'm sort of ready for spring, you know, all the spring sports to be over so that we can get to, I really want to see what the basketball schedule is going to be next year. I know it's not usually released till probably around August, but I really want to see that because, I mean, you have to factor in now. It's
Oklahoma,
not just your typical stuff. You got to add in Oklahoma and Texas. And I'm also anxious for not next year's because we know it, but the year after next football schedule because what are we going to do? I guess we're going to keep it at 8 for that particular year, but then are we going to bump it up? And if we are, you know, where some of these teams, I know Alabama, for instance, plays Florida State and Wisconsin at home, not next year, but the year after next. If we're going to start bumping it up 9 SEC games, I'd advocate canceling one of those series.
There's no doubt. I mean, because it's already a meat grinder.
But that may be why they're going to 14 teams.
Well, you look at how it's changed the baseball tournament. Now you go to a single elimination, everybody makes the tournament. No, there's no, you know, couple of teams left out. So everybody will make
on the SEC?
Yeah, SEC baseball tournament. Everybody will make the tournament. And it's single elimination instead of double now. So, which in my opinion is best. You know, you're trying to the better teams. They're trying to save pitching. They're trying to rest to get to a regional, and then get in the NCAA, just like basketball.
Yeah.
You know, the SEC baseball tournament, one game, man. You know, you won and move on. If you lose, you're out. And so, and you can just be done. So. But, I mean, the SEC is just changing along with everything else. And I said it earlier in the show, I think in 5 years it's all will be different. It'll all look different. It won't even be the same as it is now. So, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air off to a blazing start with Colorado State.
Ripping up the nets.
14 minutes. 6 minutes in the game is 5-4.
Hey, look, Virginia
loved us to beat you 16-12. Yeah. I mean, they have the absolute. They just don't play offense. They love to get you in a game where it's 39-38.
Virginia couldn't hit it, couldn't shoot nothing at 5-star. I mean, they're just not good at shooting.
They said, "Oh, we got to put the ball through the hoop." I didn't know we had to do that. We just thought you had to touch it.
They just like rebounding.
So,
God almighty. I mean, and I'll tell you something. Look, I have no problem saying this, that I love it when more blue-bloodish teams or power names get in over the smaller teams.
I mean,
I always love that. But
it's the first round.
Getting Virginia in over somebody like an Indiana State, when Indiana State did try and play some tough games. They played Alabama when they did win their conference, but they lost. They got upset in the conference championship, which screwed them. Which again, that's why I hate the conference tournament setup. That's what we do from now on. Now the conference tournament is you get paid extra. You don't get the automatic bid, but you get paid as a player. If everybody start playing hard then, I bet you wouldn't have Kansas sitting anybody out.
No, I mean, if that's what it's going to take as far as incentives, you go where people's minds are, and that's money right now. It's everybody grabbing everything. Why don't the Treasury just keep on printing? And just let the stuff, I mean, but before long, it's going to be like back in World War II days where the Germans were taking the wheelbarrow with all the money to go buy a loaf of bread. And they said, just dump all the money out. We'll take the wheelbarrow.
We'll give you this slice,
Well, no, they take the wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow is worth more than the stuff that was in it. So, I mean, that's where we are, Luke. Everybody wants to make $10 million. And I get it. I mean, we live in
and we all want to, but people think they all should. And
if everybody had $10 million, then the cost, I mean, it's like the minimum. We're going to turn this into political blitz now. But, I mean, the bright idea of upping minimum wage to $20 an hour, well, guess what? The Big Mac that you buy at McDonald's ain't going to stay the same price.
Well, and it's also everybody wants it right now. There is no more – and Saban said this. He was talking about how, everybody thinks I make so much money now. They don't remember me working as a GA, sleeping on a love seat in somebody's office, working my tail off and getting to where I was. It took him a long time to get to where he was. And, now all we see is
there's no such
YouTube
thing as
influencers.
Everybody trying on an outfit.
And these YouTube pranksters, Brett,
OOTD
where they go and they dump stuff on just a stranger in the street.
They deserve to get their, just
well, you know, there's one who goes around and
they just get the
he
hell
picks a
beat
fight
out
with
of
somebody, and then his bodyguard jumps in.
Yeah, it's that daggum little prick. What's his name? God almighty. I can't think of his. I know you're talking about. But he's a prick. He's a daggum prick, man.
He's going to do it to the wrong person.
He deserves to have his nose punched all the way through the back of his head.
Yep.
Because he asked for that. You know, if he thinks, I mean, it's all to get views and stuff. And look, I get everybody's out there just trying to grind and make theirs. I get it. But this YouTube influencer stuff,
it's
the
out of
stuff
control.
people will watch, though.
I know.
And it.
My 7-year-old daughter will watch things, and it's almost, she'll watch other kids play with toys. I'm like, you got a bunch of toys. What at the very least, you play with them. I'll tape you doing it, and I'll make the money.
Phone up and why don't you play with them and let everybody watch you play
I'm
with
gonna start
the
giving
toys.
you virtual toys that you can just pretend like you playing with.
It just, you know, you just feel like you're in the Twilight Zone sometimes. But again, everybody's trying to make money, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's what Rick Pitino was saying about the players. If you're at Iona and a Power 5 team comes calling, it's not the player's fault. If you can go make six figures at that program, but he said that poor little league got purged. Everybody, if you were worth a darn,
you got out of there.
You were gone. Somebody came and got you. I told Randy today, we were on Auburn Blitz. Janai Broom came from Morehead State. Chad Baker-Mazar from San Diego State, school in Florida, now at Auburn. You look at Chaney Johnson. He came from UAH. Denver Jones came from Florida International. I mean, look, it's everybody wants to advance and move up, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the system and the way it's set up. It's not the way it used to be, and the rules, they need to come up. Right now, it didn't feel like there are any rules. We just talked about the kid that went to Iowa from Alabama, and now he's coming back to Alabama. It ain't even been 2 months, man. I mean, where does it stop? And then you just read where that story ain't even close to being the wildest NIL story that anybody's going to hear.
We're going to see a lot more after the spring games, because there are going to be people that are just going to, and there are going to be deals that are cut under the table, and it's just, and there's going to be tampering, and it's going to be done by everybody. And if you're not doing it, guess what? Your team's going to suck.
And you look at Texas with 4 quarterbacks right now. Ohio State's got 4. They're not going to all play, and they're not all going to stand over there and hold a clipboard. Somebody's leaving. So look at all those quarterback potentials that are going to be in the portal. Look at Georgia. Look at all these teams that, it's going to be the Wild West on steroids come May when this portal window opens. And like you said, it's just getting started. And if you don't participate, you're going to get left in the dust. So I don't think the Big Ten and the SEC can form this advisory council soon enough. I think the sooner they can get away from the NCAA and create their own sets of rules and own governing body.
Well, and we've already seen that Clemson and Florida State are suing the ACC to get out. And if they get out,
they're dead. That conference is dead.
Clemson and Florida State they're panicking, and if they get out, and then
they have the TV right money to 2036.
But that's what they're suing to get out.
That's what I'm saying.
So if they get out now,
but did they sign the deal? Doesn't every team?
I know, but
I know a lot. I know it.
Paper.
I know it.
But now, it does make you wonder. Okay, if
JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Fill your tank, not your wine glass. What? Why is there a wine glass in your car? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live final segment here. Just a couple minutes left in tonight's show. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us throughout the program, your comments throughout. Again, next time we'll be on the air next week, Auburn and Alabama, will they have advanced to the second weekend will be the big question. I think the first game for both, no problem. Auburn against Yale at 3:15 on Friday, and then Alabama will play at 6:35. In the same building in Spokane, Washington. And they'll take on Charleston there. So I think both teams move on. I think Alabama will play, I say Grand Canyon.
For the second time in a year, by the way, second time in 2 years they'll play in the same building twice.
Exactly. It's crazy, man. UAB will be there with us. So they play on Thursday, I believe. But anyway.
No, they play.
Do they play that night? They play
because you played the winner of it.
Well, that's right. That's right. They do play on the 22nd against San Diego State. They play early. They play the first game.
Yeah.
12:45. So, do Auburn and Alabama make it past the round of 32?
I think at least one. I have them both making it past there.
I do too. I do too.
But I think at least one of them will for sure.
Okay. Well, that would set up a matchup in the Sweet 16 with Alabama and North Carolina more than likely, and Auburn, UConn. So, hey, you gotta play to win, and you got to get through them eventually. So it's not going to be an easy route. And Alabama made it one game short of the Final Four last year.
And 2 games short.
2 games short.
They lost the Sweet 16
I thought it was the Elite Eight.
And they lost the Sweet 16 to San Diego State.
Well, I thought that was
and then
the
San
Elite
Diego
Eight
State
game.
went on and played. God, who'd they play?
You sure it wasn't the Elite Eight game?
Positive.
For some reason, I thought they made it to the Elite
And then San Diego State played. Did they play Florida International in the Final Four?
No.
Florida Atlantic, I mean.
Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
I think they did.
I think they did because I remember thinking, good God, you couldn't give me tickets to this Final Four.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Sports Blitz Live. We'll be back with you tomorrow at noon for Auburn Blitz. For Luke Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll be see you next time.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane too. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane too. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.